welcome back to my channel. I'm Dawn with Candy Cane Ridge. Today I'm going to be walking you through our leaf block of our fall porch quilt, which also would make a darling door hanger. Stick around until the very end because I kind of change our leaf block up a little bit. Grab your fabric and let's get stitching.
All right, so we have everything laid out for our leaf block today. This is block number 2 in our fall porch quilt door hanger, table runner, fireplace bunting, whatever you choose to do with it. This is block number 2. This takes the place of the letter A in the word fall. So we're going to take our U squares and we're going to draw a line. Let me scoot this over a little bit. So we have 2 of them. I'm going to draw a line on the diagonal. Because we're going to be making some half square triangles. I'm just using a regular, well, this is a mechanical pencil. All right, so we're going to take these to the sewing machine, right sides together, and I'm going to be stitching 1/4 of an inch on either side of this drawn line. If you're one that wants to follow the line, then you can use your ruler. Here's my 1/4 inch mark. And you can stitch on this drawn line. But if you don't need that, then you can just use the center line as your guide. But you're going to actually stitch 1/4 inch away because this is going to make 2 half square triangles. So we're going to take these 2 to the sewing machine. And then we're also going to take our V squares and our letter P right here. I'm going to draw a line on the diagonal. Now, with these squares, we're going to actually be making corner square triangles. So I'm going to take our letter P right here. It's kind of got a little bubble right there. Let me give that a press. Okay. We're going to take right sides together, and I'm going to line everything up right around here. Okay, I've got here just plain old Elmer's school glue. It's washable. So I'm going to line this up, raise it up, use a little glue, just a couple of dots. Give that a minute. That's going to help it stay in position. Now I'm actually going to take this and stitch on this drawn line. Then I'm going to press it up and I'm going to trim all of this part off. So the glue on there does not matter. It's going to be chopped off anyway. This is going to be our leaf stem. So I'm going to take these and this one to the sewing machine. And again, we're going to be stitching a 1/4 inch away from our center line, a 1/4 inch away, but on our leaf stem, I'm going to stitch on the line. All right, so we have this one stitched on the line. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to lay my 1/4 inch mark on my seam line, and I'm going to trim that off. Well, that didn't work. There we go. Now I'm going to press this, set that seam, I'm going to press that. Now I'm going to take my other letter V, line it up on the opposite corner, put me some glue down, let that dry for just a second. And again, I'm going to stitch on this line. We're going to fold it up. And this is going to be our stem. Now we have our half square triangles. I'm going to cut on the line. So there we have 2. Again, here's my center drawn line. I stitched 1/4 of an inch away. So now we can set that seam, and I'm going to press it open. I'm going to trim off these little dog ears right here. Now, this particular block needs to be squared up to 3.5 inches. So using this is a 6.5 inch ruler. If you do not have a 3.5 inch ruler, which most people probably don't. So I'm going to line up my 45 on my fold right there. Looking down, there's 3.5, coming across. So across the bottom, I'm at 3.5. On this side, I'm at 3.5. I have my line on my fold, so I'm going to trim off this little bit right here. Turn it around, make sure. right, now my block is squared up to 3.5 inches. I'm going to do that to all 4 blocks. And I'm going to take this to the sewing machine now that my glue has kind of sat, and I'm going to stitch on this line to finish our stem. I'm going to trim this other side off right here. Give this, set that seam. Okay. All right, so we have our stem block. Let me put all this back together. Our stem block is going to go in this direction. And then we're going to lay out all of our pieces. Now I have to use my diagram or else I get all my leaves going the wrong way. Okay. And then we're just going to stitch these just like a 4-patch. I'm sorry, just like a 9-patch. I'm going to stitch this one to this one. I'm going to stitch this to this. We're going to do the same thing for our middle row, same thing for the bottom row. Then we're going to stitch these 2 together and stitch these rows together, all using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then we're going to come back and we're going to add our 2 sides and our top and our bottom. Okay, we have all 3 of our rows stitched together. So now I'm going to take our top row and stitch it to our middle row, matching our seam allowances right here. And I've got them pressed in the opposite directions so our seams can nest. So our top row is pressed in, our middle row is pressed out, and our bottom row is pressed in. I'm going to stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to stitch the bottom row to the middle row. Again, I'm going to nest those seams right there. And I'll be back. All right, so we have our whole little maple leaf stitched together. Now we're going to add our sides, right sides together. We're going to stitch all the way down using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then we're going to do this side all the way down using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to press them towards the outside, and then we're going to add our top and our bottom. All right, so here's our finished leaf block. We added our sides on, then we pressed them towards the outside, and then we added our top and our bottom. Block number 2 is finished. I'll see you next week with block number 3. All right, after I got this all put together and I got the whole thing put together, I decided I didn't like this print fabric all the way around the leaf. So I'm going to take this apart and add actual background fabric to the sides. Okay, here it is in our background fabric, and I like this a whole lot better.
I hope you enjoyed our leaf block video today. Come back next week and we will walk through our letter L blocks. I'll see you in our next tutorial. Bye-bye.